Hello.
Morning, sir. How we doing?
We're doing pretty good. We're hanging
Uh,
in there.
those are different answers, you know? I don't know how to take that. That's
I don't
like
think
that's
it can
like
get.
me hitting you with what's the good word. It's like I don't know how to respond to that, you know?
Does it get better than hanging in there anymore? I don't know. I feel like hanging in there might
Ah,
be top now. It might be
boy,
top.
you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I've been hanging in there for like 4.5 years now.
Exactly. That's kind of my thoughts too. So
Yeah,
someday maybe
not
we'll be out of
great.
the hanging in there phase. That'd be cool. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Someday we'll be living the dream.
Yeah.
Someday. But right now, we're hanging in there.
We're hanging in there. I sort of see that. I know. I feel like the end of hanging in there is probably like when the kids are out of the house. That's my hope.
Yeah, but see, I don't want them to be out of the house. I want to reach living the dream while the kids are still at home.
Sure.
Is that possible?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Sure it is. Come on. Sure it is.
I don't know. I just think there's a weight that comes with the children that's not their fault, but I don't think money even solves. I just think there's just a level of responsibility that is
It, it
there.
is it is a noble duty, and that can still
Yeah.
be quite difficult. Yes. I
Yeah.
feel that.
Whereas like you can see on the other side of that, you get everybody out, they're humans, they're adults, they're doing their own thing, they have husbands and wives and kids of their own, right? And then you're like, all right, like they're still gonna need you at times, right? But like you got a little space for yourself in there, I feel like.
Can you imagine space for yourself?
I
I
know,
went to
that's the
church
thing.
this Sunday, just me and the older kids, because one of the younger ones was sick, and so Jennifer stayed home. And I was sitting next to my friends, and I was like, "So what do what are you up to today?" And she said, my friend said, "Going to see a movie after this." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds amazing." 12:30, going to probably Alamo Draft House. She said, "Yeah, me and our other friend are going." And I was like, "Why is he not at church? Where is he?" And she said, "Well, he was at home gardening, and the weather was so beautiful, and he wanted to get it done, so he just kept gardening. And then we're gonna go see the movie after." And I'm like,
These are
can you
kidless people.
imagine?
You just know
Can you
right there.
imagine this life? I'm here with two kids while my wife is home with
Uh,
sick kids, and he's gardening, and I'm gonna go see a movie, and I'm happy for him. That sounds amazing.
yeah, the kids have their. There's a lot of great stuff that comes with the children, but
Of course,
freedom of and choice are not necessarily the things
not
that you
not in the
get from
top,
that.
not in the top five, probably.
No, so wow, yeah, that is always when you have those experiences like, man, I remember when I could just do the stuff I wanted to do in a day and
Sunday afternoon movie. That's crazy.
crazy. Probably going to see Sinners, not going to see Minecraft. I went and saw Minecraft
No, I think
this
they went and
week.
saw. There's always a new MCU movie, and I think that's what they went and
The,
saw.
the Thunderbolts.
There you go, Thunderbolts.
Thought
Who
about
can
seeing
keep
that
up?
too.
I mean, I'm sorry. Can we not? Do we not have a single new idea? What are we doing? We're
Yeah, I
just
don't
doing
know.
Star Wars and MCU over and over
Yeah,
and over. And I
all they
guess Lord
got.
of the Rings. We're doing that over and over and over.
Oh, the Lord of the Rings is the worst to me, honestly,
What
because
are we
they're so
doing?
bad. The ones that aren't the mainline ones, but
It's so bad. Come up with a
yeah.
new idea. And I
I,
know that, like, I know Glass Houses because I'll watch any Fast and Furious no matter what number it is. But come up with a new idea, people.
You should go see the Minecraft movie with the I don't know about your kids might not even be old enough. There's a couple like sort of scary parts. I don't know, did your oldest play Minecraft yet or no?
No, and they've never sat through they've never seen an entire movie. So I don't think
Oh
this
wow.
is,
Okay, yeah,
yeah, this is
it's probably
probably
not the
not,
starting point for
no,
them.
I don't think so.
I was actually thinking about you in the movie because I was like, this
Oh,
is
that's
like it's a
great.
very sort of wholesome for the
Hey,
most
that's
part.
awesome.
Felt like an Aaron Francis flick to me. So
Okay, well,
I don't
I'll
know,
put
but
that on the list for when they do start watching movies.
yeah, I don't know if you've they should play Minecraft first, probably. So get them on Minecraft. Minecraft is great. I do like the Minecraft a lot. And at least
I don't
it's
think I'm philosophically opposed to Minecraft. I don't know much
yeah,
about it, but it seems like just open world builder, and that seems like
right.
completely neutral to me.
Yeah, the building is great. It's like exploration,
Yeah,
building. There's like
it's
the
great.
two modes of the game. One is with like the monsters and one is without the monsters. But even with the monsters, it's not like that crazy, but you can just play. My oldest son's he still plays Minecraft and he does the building and makes these huge builds of cities and whatever. And there's cool stuff around that. So
Yeah, I can
it's
get
pretty
behind
good.
that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the time everyone is hearing this, my children, oldest, will be 4. They turn 4 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, big kids.
Are you blowing it out?
I don't think so. We're gonna go to a park this weekend with family and just a few like friends who are nice enough to show up to a 4-year-old's birthday party. Mostly people with kids. But yeah, I don't know. We'll probably do something tomorrow on the actual day of. But yeah, they're getting big, man.
You gotta up the incrementer now. Now you're the father of 4 kids under 5.
I know it's not as impressive.
Now it's
Lots of people have 4 kids under 5.
it's starting to get less impressive every
It
year.
was
It's like, eh,
it was most impressive when it was 4 under 3.
yes, I agree.
That was like hard for people to
That was
understand.
like, what is wrong with this dude?
Yeah.
Like, he's a lunatic.
I know.
Yeah.
Now I'm going back to just being normal, which I hate, you
You're
know.
heading towards normalcy. Yeah. Once they're at like 4 kids under 9 or something, it's like, like
cares,
that's not
yeah.
even.
We
You could
should
have had
do-
them separately. They didn't even have to be twins then, you know. Like that's,
We still have time to do 6 under 6.
dude. You should do it. You should do it. These kids are low stress. What's 2 more?
Yeah. Yeah, and free. So yeah, we'll definitely do
free.
it.
Very inexpensive. You're all set up in that spot. You took a day off the podcast. Actually, it's your only day off you've ever had. I feel like.
Oh
When
yeah, 6 under 6 is not possible.
Yeah, you'd have to go with. You'd have to bring in a ringer if you want to do that.
Nope, I don't. There are other options.
You have to tag
that.
out.
Yeah, there's a lot of other options before we get there.
I don't think you're having another 2 anyway. So I think.
No, I don't think we're
you're
having
probably
another
good.
any.
Yeah. Kind of related to this, maybe you should give us the twin dad meetup update.
The twin dad meetup. I didn't want to bore Taylor with it, you know, but now that he's gone, I can bore you with it. It was great. It was very interesting. So we're all there for the same reason, right? We've all got twins.
Yep.
And it just like we're all strangers, just like complete strangers. Met these people.
You picked these people up off the street. You
literally met them at restaurants and was like, hey man, what's your deal?
What's your
and
sign?
we all get together and it's like we're sitting down, just these 4 absolute strangers. And I was like, all right, let's set the table here. Let's go around. How many kids? How old? What genders? Great. Did all of that. All right. What's everybody do for work? Okay. What does your wife work? Does your wife stay at home? Okay. And it just kept like it was very like we're here for business. And it was great. It was great because the guys were like, so what do you do? Like, how have y'all handled this situation? And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, we can all talk about that. And then it was like, how's everybody's wife doing? Are they making it or are they struggling? And it's like, oh, wow, you know, we'll talk about that for a while. All right, how's everybody's marriage doing? You making it or you struggling?
Man,
and I was like, this is great. It was awesome.
Wow.
I you know, with my actual friends, it took us, 10 years to get there. But with these strangers, it was like, all right, we don't have very much time. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was so fun. Very, very, just like very diverse set of people. All kinds of different jobs, different life experiences, but all just bound by this one like pretty intense hardship and joy of having multiple kids. And so yeah, it was great. I was so surprised.
And there was 4 of you?
There were 4 of us, which is perfect.
Yeah, that's a good number. Wow.
Yeah.
And I've never done anything like that. This is amazing. So you think you're gonna all meet up again at some point?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. One of the guys was like, I just realized I have a good friend who lives down the street and he's got twins about everybody's, kids' age, and I'll invite him next time. I just wanted to check y'all out to make sure it was like cool. And it's like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Did you have the most kids?
I had the most and I had the oldest.
Oh, oldest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was one guy that had just the twins, one guy that had twins and a younger singleton, and one guy that is expecting a younger singleton. So yeah, I had the most at 4 and I had the oldest at almost 4 years old. And so at one point, I don't remember what happened, but one of them looked at me and was like, you're the leader. You tell us, like, what do we do now? And I'm like, I'm not, but sure, I'll tell you what to do.
I think you kind of are because you're the oldest. You have the oldest, kids, and you're the one who put it together. So I feel like you are the leader.
It's my show.
Like, yeah, I think it is your show.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's fun.
Just like
it's just I think me and my like real friends in real life are pretty like close and open with each other, and not just
Mm,
like traditional sitcom dudes that don't know each other's names.
right.
But still, even considering that me and my friends are all very like intentional about talking about things, this felt like, what is happening here? Like, hey, strangers, is your wife doing okay? Is she
Right,
depressed? What's
right,
going on?
right at the deep end
Okay.
of the pool.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about it. Let me tell you about what she's going through. Let me tell you about what we're going through. And it's like, okay, cool, been there. Anybody have ideas? It's like, this is great. And
That's
you can
wild.
tell that, like, I don't think this is, I just think that that's something they probably don't get a lot of,
Yeah.
because that's not really a guy thing to do. And so I think it was very, very profitable for everyone. And it was a lot of fun, surprisingly.
I do feel like you have a large friend group more than most people in terms of in real life.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Uh,
have a lot of mostly college friends that have stuck pretty closely together. Some of them
yeah.
I see, multiple times a week, and then some of them
Wow.
I see a couple times a year. But I still see them all, and
Yeah.
I text with many of them, sometimes several times a day. And so yeah,
Wow.
I still have a big. I mean, it's probably 12 guys, and then a few, here and there, outside
Mm,
of the core college group.
yeah.
But yeah, there's still a lot of people that, um, surprisingly, I graduated in 2010. We're still extremely close. I mean, one of them performed my wedding. He wasn't like the best man. He like was the pastor. He performed the wedding.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
wild.
So
That's cool.
yeah, it's great. I'm very lucky in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to have that. Definitely not something I feel like most people I know do not have that. I definitely
Yeah.
don't have it. Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So that was a big success. So we
Big
will
success.
await the update of the Twin Dad
Big success.
Dallas area meetup.
And I got one text from one of the guys that was like, "Hey, my wife would love to like meet yours and the whole family.
To the
Let's get together." And
wife.
I'm like, "That's great.
Yeah.
Let's do a family thing." Yeah.
That's interesting. I feel like we have to. I'm trying to find a way for me to utilize this idea, and that like the twins are such a good
I
like
know.
shared
Oh.
experience to build around.
Mhm.
I gotta think about that a little bit, but I do like that.
It's hard to tell if someone runs a help desk software just
Right.
by looking at them,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you
Or if
go
they're
like
like a
3
poker
kids,
degen
like,
or
I don't know.
something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Poker degen is probably, for
I know where to
me,
find those.
yeah, like, that's probably one of the better ones, except that, like, you gotta filter. I don't know if I just wanna I don't know if I just wanna
Right.
be totally people off the street who are poker degens, because there's
There's
some
real
actual
degens,
serious
yeah.
degeneracy there. But yeah, my kids, so in the past, I was the boys who are the two oldest. They're boys. We didn't like necessarily get the skinny on what's going on at school. Like you ask them, they're like, yeah, everything's fine, like whatever.
Good.
Yeah, that kind of thing. My daughter, she's into talking about it. So I've been getting hooked up on all the terms, which I
Oh.
thought I was sort of in the loop, but I'm officially way out of loop on all the terms.
Okay.
So, oh man, so like Riz, maybe people in the audience know about Riz. Do you know about Riz?
My understanding is that it's like charisma.
It's like flirting, charisma. Yeah, all right. So
Yeah.
you're in the know. So I
Yeah.
was learning how to use the Riz term. I'm like, oh, you don't, you're not rizzing, but you're like, you riz, like I rizzed mom is the example, right? And it's like, sounds
Horrifying.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like a
I don't
weird
want to know
vibe here.
that.
Yeah. And Sigma, you're up on the Sigma. This
I
is
don't know
like kind of
Sigma.
cool. I think this is like a really new one. I guess it's like cool. So I don't know, I was getting in the loop on some of these terms, and it was quite interesting. Then we picked up so I have my daughter with me. We picked up her cousin, my niece, and whatever. I was taking him to the Minecraft movie, and we were talking about this. And the cousin's like, "Why are you training your dad on this stuff? Don't train your dad in this."
That's a good question. Yeah.
And my daughter's like, "He likes it, and it's
He's
fine."
gonna go on a
So
podcast and embarrass himself by saying I rizzed mom.
exactly. Every time I say it, I'm like, oh man, I'm a child of the 90s, and this is just like,
This
this has
feels
a
inappropriate.
feels very inappropriate vibe to me, but They don't get those angles yet. Or maybe they won't. Maybe it's a whole different world. Like maybe that's not, I don't know. It's a whole different world out there now. But I don't know. That was my kid excitement for the weekend, was getting up
Well,
on
I
all the
look forward
terms.
to you casually slipping those terms in, and I will try not to hang a lantern on it, so you can get away with it.
Oh man, crazy.
The mostly technical party.
Yes,
It's a hit.
big hit.
The people are loving it.
Thank you, people.
Let me check the event right now. We've got 151 on the accepted list, and then 25 on the wait list, which is incredible.
Wild. Like, I mean, 24 hours, it was sold out. I mean, it's free, so selling out a free event's not the hardest thing in the world, but still pretty good
150 number. 175 people that want to come hang. That's a pretty good number.
Pretty good. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We do have the wait list, so the capacity is 150. Some small chance we get a few more spots, so sign up for the wait list if you want to come and didn't sign up. Some chance we carve out a little more space, but
and there's a good chance some of these people that are going won't actually be able to come, and so definitely sign up for the wait list. And we'll try to make it very clear before y'all arrive who's able to get in and not.
We're still months away, so
hopefully we can get some more space. That would be awesome.
It's gonna be a busy day. Like, there's a golf thing, you got a speaker dinner, you got this party, I got some Userscape stuff. That's gonna be, I feel like gonna have to really be energized.
Fortunately for the golf thing, I'm not golfing.
You're not golfing?
Are you crazy?
No.
I'll drive the cart. I'll go around and yuck it up with the people.
Yeah, well, that's doing the golf thing. I don't understand who's golfing, because as far as I know, Eric is the only Eric Barnes
Eric is the only person golfing. Yeah, everyone else is just like, sure, I'll go hang out. I'll go watch Eric golf, I guess.
Driving carts. Yeah, just everybody following Eric around the course.
Nobody wants to golf. They just want to drive the cart. So
I guess it'll be fun to hear how that goes for everybody. But party. I always lose my voice at these things, so I will probably lose my voice before the conference even starts.
Perfect.
Because I will be talking to everybody at the party, and it'll be loud. Although it is outside, which may help with the loudness.
It should, I hope. Yeah. Plus, we're in charge, so we can tell them, turn the music down.
That's true.
I'm here to hang out with my friends, not to listen to house beats,
Right. Yeah. And what is it, 2 hours we're doing, I think, right? It's like 8:30
I think 8:30 to 10:30.
Yeah. All right. So it's this instance where we share what's going on with the pod family here. Are we doing anything at this party? Is there any centerpiece we want to have at the party, or is it just? I mean, I assume we'll, like, at the very least say a few words, kind of thing. A few
words, yeah.
Yeah, but are we trying to do? We definitely don't want to record a podcast or anything like that.
No,
there's not enough time for that.
Kills the whole
we're not
vibe,
doing that. Do we want to do a game? Do we want to do anything? I don't know.
There could be something to, like, a 5-10 minute game, but I don't know what the game. Here's the only thing I know about the game is the mechanic should be Team Ian or Team Aaron. I don't know what the game is, but that's the mechanic. Is people say Team Ian or Team Aaron.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Somebody out there with a game brain. So, like, John Rudolph Drexler, Will King. Somebody come up with a full game for us. That's 5-10 minutes and pits Ian and I against each other on our hottest takes.
Okay. Yes. Team Ian or Team Aaron. People have to pick a side. Choose. All right. I like
There's
this.
something there. There's a nugget. We'll give the nugget to the people and let them figure it out.
Let's leave it there. Game people, let us know. I'm sure it's already sparked a lot of creative ideas out there. But I like that. That's a good idea.
This feels
10-minute game.
Shaped like the Newlywed Game somehow. When at a wedding shower, the happy couple sits back to back. And have you ever seen this game?
I mean, I think a million years ago or whatever. Yeah.
They sit back to back, and they each have one shoe of their own and one shoe of their spouse to be. Right. So I'm holding one of my shoes and one of Jennifer's shoes. And somebody's like, who's going to do the cooking? And you raise the shoe of who's going to do the cooking. And then you turn around and you're like, what? No, I thought you were. Oh, this is so funny. So it has that same kind of, like, spirit, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how it's gonna work.
Yeah, maybe, like, we give takes and people, like, physically walk between
Mhm,
sides or
mhm,
something,
mhm.
or they have little placards they vote
Little
with,
little,
or
popsicle sticks with our faces on
yes,
it, one side and the other.
yes, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
This is good. This is a
I
good
like
bit.
this
I think we
idea.
could get somewhere.
Yeah. Alright, we got a little time, we can put something
We got a
together
little
here.
time, and I think, we need to thank an additional sponsor that came on board
Yes,
to help us
let's
throw
do
that
that.
party. Do you wanna do that?
Yes, our friends over at, Give Butter have come on board as sponsors, so, it's gonna be really great to have them on and making the party possible. Free food, free drinks, big space for lots of people. Couldn't do it without them, so thanks a lot to Give Butter, and,
GiveButter is fundraising software for
I was just gonna
nonprofits.
yeah, so
So
just gonna say
you
that.
can
So
find them at givebutter.com. Interesting. This looks very cool.
and I wanna say I'm pretty sure they're a Laravel thing, so I think
I'm
they
sure.
post on Lara jobs, but, I do love these kind of specialized
I know.
CRMs, you know? It's
Yep.
like just niched down into a nonprofit. I love nonprofit. I feel like nonprofit's a weird but sort of good space because if you can get in there, it's like
Yes, they're very
there's not
underserved.
a lot of turnover, you know? They're like sticking with the
Yeah.
solution they find for a long time. So anyway, Give Butter. Thanks a lot to them.
GiveButter and Diagonal, thank you for sponsoring what is going to be the party of the year.
I think it's gonna be awesome. Hope we
I
don't
think so.
overshadow Laracon. It might be bigger than
That is a
Laracon.
very real possibility, man.
Oh man. All right. What else are we doing here? Well, maybe we should do a regular ad. Should we do a regular ad?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. All right, I'll go. Um, thanks also while we're doing ads to our super friends, mega friends, maybe the biggest friend of the show. It's possible. I think monetarily it's true for sure.
I think it
Friends over
is.
at Bento.
I think so.
And Bento is the refreshingly delightful email marketing platform. Does all kinds of great stuff. I know you use it. You're a power user of it, and huge friends of the show. I'm excited to using it at some point here. We get a new project going at some point. I'll definitely be using Bento for that. I've never been big on the emails. You know, email marketing's a whole thing I've just
Gotta do the
never done.
emails. You
I
gotta do
know.
the
I
emails.
know. I know. So anyway, thanks to Bento, huge friend of the show. Thanks so much. And to Laracon 2025. Laracon is calling all web artisans, come to Denver, ready to level up, leave ready to ship. And obviously, big thanks to them also for helping us organize the party. So they're doing a lot to help us with that. And definitely go out. If you haven't got your tickets yet, get your tickets, go to Laracon, hang out with us, hang out with all Laravel people. I think it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be the first, it's the first one that since the fundraising, I believe. Right? I mean, I guess he announced it the other one, right? But like,
Yeah,
this
I
is
think it had
like,
landed before the other one,
did
but
it
it
land
wasn't
before?
like I think so.
Mm.
Because he drove to Dallas and did that interview with me before Laracon, and then it was put out after Laracon. So I think it had landed before, but I
But I
don't think
think
it
he
was maybe
announced
public.
it at Laracon.
I
No.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's announced out. So this is the first one where it's like they got the big team. They got
Mm-hmm.
like they're geared up. Clouds out. Night Watch is coming.
They
Other
got
new
all that
stuff's
money.
coming.
Every attendee is going to get $2,000 just for
I
showing
don't
up.
think, I don't think
Thank you
that's
to
true,
Excel
Aaron.
for sponsoring.
I think you might be incorrect with that. I'm not sure that's accurate. Do
Just
your
putting
own
it out into
research
the
there, everybody.
universe, you know?
How great would it be if everybody shows up? They're just handing out checks. They're just like a check for you, check for you, check for you. Full refund on all your,
Oh,
your
man.
ticket and your
That'd be
flights.
good stuff.
That would be
Good
good.
stuff right there.
Hank, if you're listening, that's
Come on,
marketing right
Hank.
there, baby.
That's
That's
marketing.
marketing.
These ideas are free. We're just giving them away.
That comes right out of the marketing budget. Mention all the social media juice you're gonna get out of that. Nobody, I never heard. I mean, I've been to a lot of conferences. I've heard about a lot of conferences. Never heard of a conference
Never
giving out money.
heard giving away $2,000 to
No,
every attendee.
I've not heard about that. So I'm pretty excited about
That would
that.
be a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bento now, I've been doing this newsletter now for like 5-6 weeks or something, and it's
Love it.
going great.
It's
It's
great.
going great. I love it. And I'm getting lots of, let me just check. Actually, I may have some,
This
I
is
may
the
have,
Try Hard Studios weekly update. I don't know what the
that is
formal
right.
name is, but
That
yeah.
is correct. Yeah. See, I've already got some responses in here. So I enjoy doing it, and the people are really liking it.
Great.
So Yeah, if you're not on the list, aaronfrancis.com/newsletter. It's very good. So it's like what are we up to this week, and also what have I found around the internet that I think is worth highlighting. It's been a lot of fun and very easy to do, which is pretty
I
important.
love it. Yeah, no, I love, I think your taste obviously aligns, with a lot of people's taste out there and definitely my taste, and so I think you select interesting topics, and I think, they get put together. It's like just enough text to kinda give you your thinking on it, right?
Hmm.
But then it's not like a big long newsletter that's like,
No.
"Oh, man, it's gonna take me 20 minutes to, like, chew through this." It's like, you can kinda, like, go through it in 2 or 3 minutes or whatever it is. Yeah, I think it's been great, and as someone who's not on Twitter anymore, it's like, it's
Yeah.
just Twitter, but just the good parts, right?
Just
It's
the
like
good parts, which is like 4 or 5 tweets a
4
week.
tweets a week, right? So it's like perfect.
I'm wading
Aaron
through
filters them
piles
for me.
of, just to get 4 or 5 a
Yeah.
week. Let me
So
see how
that's
many
great.
people. One 1,300 people is how many we sent it
Oh,
to
wow.
last. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a lot.
So now the kind of like, with this kind of list though, the thing I was like, how do you really build it? Like there's
I
not.
don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I
Like how
was
do people
just
even
that was
find
me
out
just
about it?
trying. That was me right there. I was trying to build the list.
Oh man.
I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. Like the
All
discoverability is so
is
low
so
on
low.
a list. That's the problem, right? It's like, okay, you have this podcast, so you're gonna reach the people on podcast, maybe occasionally mention it in a video, I guess, or whatever. I don't think you've actually done that yet, but
Mm-mm.
like you could in theory do that. It's in your profile, I assume, or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are still a few things we're trying to like button up
Mm,
in like the whole empire thing. And one of them is tightening the loop between like written content, video content, and newsletter. And
mm,
so I think ideally I'm writing articles, and every article has a call to action that's like join the
yeah,
newsletter. And then also ideally every historic newsletter is public on my website, where it's like, hey, go check out, last week's edition. You can read them all, but if you want to get them on time, add your email here.
yeah,
And then from YouTube videos, I need to be like teasing them with, hey, you want to get the, whatever SQLite cheat sheet, go sign up here. And that's a different list. But
right,
then that kind of stuff, another thing is we need to be better about like cross marketing the email lists. So
yeah,
like in the footer or somewhere in the body say like, hey, you're on this list but you aren't on this one. If you want to, just click here and we'll automatically add you, just like a one-click ad. So those are some of the thoughts and some of the things that we're still trying to like tighten up.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. And like, there's some SEO aspects, obviously, and things like
Yeah.
that. So although SEO is kind of dying slash dead, but there's still some elements there, and yeah.
And maybe I need to
So
start asking people to like forward it to their friends.
yeah, that's
So I
true.
think that is a way that newsletters have grown historically.
Yeah,
But I don't know, it doesn't feel like a pure newsletter play, because it's not like
right.
topical. No, it's not like here's what happened in the market today.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like curated content. So I don't know, it feels a little trickier to me.
The modern take on this feels like it should really almost be, even though it's a little different than the other ones, it could be a Substack
Yeah,
type
probably.
newsletter. You know what I mean? Like it could even be paid. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how much you could get away with charging, but like I don't know, I'd pay $40 or something. Like
I'll send you my Venmo. Yeah,
there
you
you
can
go.
you can just send me $40 and I'll keep sending you the newsletter for free.
I don't know, but then it's got some. That's where like it's sort of like the Substacks recommending things and things
Yeah.
like that. And then I don't know if Bento does anything with that. I know Kit at one point was working on something kind of like that. I think
Kit
it's a little different, and that was like
bought
a paid.
Yeah. They bought
You get
Spark Loop, and
inserted,
it's like a creator recommendation thing.
right?
I
It
signed up for somebody's
inserts.
Kit newsletter the other day, and it was like, "Hey, do you want to sign up for these also?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I've never heard of these people in my life. No, I don't want to sign up for them. Why would I
That's the
sign up
weird
for them?"
part. Yeah, I
And
don't
so I'm
know.
not like super sold on that as an
Yeah,
idea. But yeah, I think there are a few things we could do to optimize. An interesting question is the newsletter a money-making venture? And I think my
right.
answer is no. I
Mhm.
mean, maybe like down the road, but I think my answer is this is a way to connect with people kind of more individually
Yeah,
and just like stay in their sphere of awareness. I am still hoping someday to just log off completely. Like once we make it, I can just like get off of Twitter altogether. And I would like to still talk to my friends, but I don't want to
Right.
talk to all the random people that, are annoying on Twitter. So
Right.
this is my exit plan, I
Start to
think.
build the other
Yeah.
channels. Yeah.
Between this and a forthcoming forum, I think that is probably how I want to live. I will say we also have a Slack. Tryhard has that Slack, the backstage pass that Will
All
King
right.
designed and all that.
Yep.
And I decided on Friday we're gonna cancel all the subscriptions. We're gonna keep the
Oh.
Slack going, but
Uh-huh.
we're not gonna it's not a paid Slack anymore.
Okay.
Because the thought was originally like, hey, let's make this an open source, wing of the company and people can support the work and come and hang out. And with Fusion being dead and me losing some of my mojo to like do open source, it's like this feels kind of icky.
Right.
So I was like, hey, good news, Slack's not going anywhere. Double good news, you're not paying for it
Better
anymore.
news.
Yeah.
It's free.
So
Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
some different places to connect with people rather than just x.com, the everything app.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if like building out Slack will be I think that could be interesting. Obviously being free will be much easier to get people to join up over there.
Yeah,
So
totally.
yeah, interesting. Okay. What else we got going on here? We got a few more things. I had this AI pattern I was messing around with. I don't know if
Tell
you've
me.
ever done this, but like there's a thing that's always bothered me, which is you don't want to write the code to do something, right?
Okay.
And
An interesting starting point, but carry
which
on.
is, it's some baseline thing, authentication, right? Or whatever the thing is. And or permissions or whatever. And there's packages for these things, right?
Yes.
But the packages,
I'm
you
over the
know,
packages. I'm over
they're
the packages.
they're just like, they're often from somebody's perspective, you don't necessarily share the same perspective.
Yep.
They've grown and accepted pull
They're
requests that they
all
probably
things
shouldn't
to all
have
people.
pulled
Yes.
in, right? Like, and even if it's well documented, well maintained, it's like it's almost like its own big complicated app
Yep.
of its own. But in the past, I was like, the trade-offs are kind of worth it because I don't like for me to go into all the like corner cases of this whole thing is like its own endeavor to build
Yep.
it fresh and whatever. But with the AI, it's
Mm.
kind of nice because you could tell it, big, listen, here's a package. You know what it is already. This is what it does. Here's how I want it to be different. Let's keep it slim. Let's keep it tight, blah, blah. So I give it a good amount of instructions and it like made a package that did the thing I wanted it to do without the package. Like it just made
Yep.
in our own code base a little mini package, not even as a package, of course, just like code in the app. But there it is. And it's like, well, yes, we have to maintain it, but it's only a stripped down
But
version.
it's only
I didn't have to write
5%
it.
of the big package.
Yeah, it's only 5% of the big package. And it's not like it's even better to me than like pure AIing it because it's like I could give it the like foundational elements of how I want it to work
Yep.
without me having to like describe everything or even like go and it can think of edge cases that it's already aware of and stuff like that. So I don't know. I've never done that before. It's the first time I did it quite like that this weekend. And I was like, it's pretty cool. I think I like that.
I like this. This is a good idea.
Yeah.
I like the just the general concept of I'm not gonna pull in a huge package. I'm just gonna do like the two things that I need. But having AI use a package for reference to write those two things, that's pretty good. So what are you taking it like out to Claude and then copy and pasting, or have you found an in editor workflow that works?
Yes. So this was my adventure the end of last week of like, want to have the AI in the editor, ideally. I still think it works best outside the editor,
I do
like,
too.
which makes no sense, which is a whole other thing that I think part of the issue is like everybody trying to use RAG for stuff. And I think RAG is kind of trash. And so like you have the dumb system feeding the smart system. It doesn't necessarily work very well all the time. Whatever. Oh, okay. But it is like for certain types of things, it is annoying to have to copy paste it back and forth, or you might have a thing you're doing like a package where maybe there's like 7 files and each is in a different spot, right? Or whatever. And now like you're moving all these files around all over and stuff. So not the end of the world, still saving you tons of work, but kind of annoying. So I went back down the rabbit hole, but kind of using Cursor. I do dislike VS Code.
Same.
The Laravel package, the Laravel extension has an error with Herd and VS Code that is listed, so I'm sure they'll get to it at some point. It's like a crazy error where like every time a PHP file saves, there's like a error in herd, and I don't even understand how the Laravel extension is messing with her. Like the whole
I
thing,
do not
I don't
envy
know.
Joe T trying to do
Yeah,
all of that stuff with all the
I don't,
different
yeah,
possibilities.
I don't know if it's Laravel Inc. I don't know if it's
Yeesh.
Herd. I don't know who. I don't know if it's VS Code. It's a weird error. So we got that thing throwing errors, which is a little bit annoying. And whatever. Well, try Cursor. I'm using Cursor. Really like tried to tweak it. Don't love it. Went to PHP Storm. Their like AI thing is not good.
Not
GitHub
good.
Copilot, not good. PHP Storm does have this thing Junie, which is like a cursor knockoff, which seems interesting. You know how to video on it this week.
Yeah, the normies don't have access yet, right?
Yeah, we don't have
Yeah.
access yet, so I couldn't play with that. So Matt, who works at Userscape, he likes Windsurf, so I tried Windsurf, and Windsurf is actually pretty good. It's way better than Cursor. So if you're on Cursor, I would try Windsurf. It's again just VS Code, but their actual AI part is superior. I think the way it like handles the diffs when it edits files, just the UI in general. Now I have had it lock up a few times, which is not my favorite. So it's been less stable than Cursor, I would say. But the AI parts are better, in my opinion. So that's pretty good. It's also the one OpenAI is rumored to be buying, which is if you're okay being in the OpenAI land, could be nice. Although I've been using Claude 3.7 pretty effectively, but so that's where I'm at with that. It is nice that it can do stuff all throughout the code base. It can run commands and everything's right there. So that's all super nice. That's probably the biggest thing to me is that having it be able to run commands, like run your unit tests, it just sees the error, it just fixes the error.
Right.
It's like such a nicer workflow than like, well, let me copy and paste the error out of the terminal and like bring it over here and like all that stuff. It's like, no, it's just running it, it's just fixing it. That's pretty great. So yeah, Windsurf's
Have
where
you
I'm at.
worked with warp.dev at all?
Warp.dev. No, I've never even heard of it.
Okay,
What is
well, we're
this?
gonna do warp.dev after a word from these sponsors. So you look at warp.dev. This episode is brought to you by Work OS Auth Kit, which Taylor talked about on the last episode. Laravel 12's new starter kit includes Work OS Auth Kit, future-proof your authentication stack with the identity layer trusted by OpenAI, Cursor, Perplexity, and Vercel. You can check them out at workos.com. And we have one more ad for native PHP. And the ad text is gone, so I'm just going to say what I remember. Native PHP for mobile is now available. You can find that at nativephp.com/ let's see if I can remember, mobile. Yes, that is correct. iOS and Android. So if you want to build native applications for mobile using Laravel, you can, which is kind of insane and kind of awesome. And one of these days I will do this. So thank you to Native PHP for sponsoring the show and WorkOS Auth Kit.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Warp.
Yes.
Never used it, huh?
No. I also forgot to mention I also tried Codex and I think the Anthropic thing too.
It kind of fell apart on me.
Didn't care for them. Oh, okay,
yeah, the models, I mean, it was okay for some stuff, and then I started like trying to do bigger, and it was just like, this is not really working that well.
yeah.
So I haven't used Warp, but here are my thoughts on it. Classic podcaster.
it's a terminal replacement app for people who don't know what Warp is.
So this is what I think might be good about it is it is like you said, it is a new terminal. So it's not in your IDE, which already has my attention. And it's more integrated than something like Codex, which is, just an NPM package, right? So with Warp, I think you can do all of it has an agent mode. So you could use it as like your regular terminal. But what I would use it for is just the AI coding stuff. So I think this is going to be the next one that I try for some of the more bigger, like the bigger features and that kind of thing.
I don't know. I think the IDEs are a thing for a reason, and they are just superior. And that like the AI in the IDE is just going to be capable of doing so much more, showing you more information more densely. Like being limited to just the terminal for these things I don't think I'm a believer. I don't think I'm a
Well,
believer.
but you're also an anti-terminal guy, so
Yeah, but what is this gonna give you that, like it's just going back to the same models, right? So, like,
it
it's
is.
not giving you anything special. There's no special sauce, but now you have a worse interface for all of it, for everything it does. I don't know.
Irrelevant
Now I do like
or
the idea of a AI terminal for all the regular terminal stuff that I don't remember the
oh,
commands for anything.
nonsense.
Like, I just wanna be like, you know, r clear the DNS cache or whatever, and it knows how to clear the DNS cache, and I don't have to, like, copy and paste it from OpenAI or whatever. Like, so that part is interesting. But I don't know
So
about
this
for
this is going to
coding.
replace. So I'm going to keep using PHP Storm. I don't have
Right.
access to Junie, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
hosed there. My alternative would be run Cursor side by side with PHP Storm. Anytime I need AI stuff, hop over to Cursor or Windsurf or
Right.
whatever, ask it to
Hmm.
do that, and then come back to PHP Storm to keep working. This is the alternative to that. And this feels
Right.
better than like running two editors side by side.
I do think the Junie is going to be out pretty soon because it's already out for several of the other JetBrains editors. So I can't
Mm-hmm.
imagine it's like 6 months away. I think it's probably very near term available. I mean, they're giving Nuno a build of it, right? Like it
Yeah.
feels like
So
it's
they
coming.
have a build for it. You're right.
Yeah, and like and there and it's publicly available in some of the other editors.
Right.
So I think it's got to be coming pretty soon. And again, there's no lock-in with any of this stuff. So it's like
I
everybody's
know.
just gonna have the same, like, oh, everybody likes the cursor interface. Okay, like we will copy
Yeah.
that and feed it to the same AI platform that you get on cursor. Like, so I think PHP Storm will ultimately just get there with a good enough variation of the model. Is my guess. Although Windsurf is pretty good. I do like it, so we'll see. But I do hate VS Code, so I don't know. But yeah, so you're gonna try this.
I'm gonna
This
try
will be
this.
your week of
Yeah.
fun here in this
I'm
week.
gonna give this a run this week. See if it's does it cost any money? Probably
It
costs
has
a little bit
pricing
of money.
page.
Probably costs them. Free is $0. So yeah, that checks out. Up to
That's true.
150 AI requests per month. That's nothing.
Yeah, that's like
Pro
an
is
hour.
$15. Oh, it's just so stupid. It's $18 if it's billed monthly.
All right.
$15 a month if billed annually. I hate this.
I
Don't
also
put
feels
$15 a month and then comma billed annually. Drives me freaking insane.
This is also a very interesting thing with AI apps that I'm not like from a business perspective, I'm very sort of on the fence with. I'm not sure what the right path is. Like up to 1,000 AI requests a month, right?
Mhm.
What does that mean? Do you get to select your models or not? And then like on the bigger plan, it's like unlimited access to light models, but up to 3,000 AI requests. Well, presumably the light models are also AI requests. So I guess AI requests means to more sophisticated models, but the cheaper plans don't
Yeah,
make
it
that
says once you hit
distinction.
your monthly requests, Warp will switch to Light, a lightweight fallback model, so you can keep using AI without interruption.
But on the cheaper plan, it doesn't say unlimited access to light.
No,
So
you got to pay
on the
$40 a month billed
to
annually
get to
to get the
that,
fallback
yeah.
model. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it just stopped working, on
Yeah.
the pro plan. But even, like, more the idea in general of, like, how much you expose to a customer, like, is it just AI? I think we will get to the point where, like, it's also cheap that, like, hey, it has AI and that's it. Like, you don't ever have to
Right.
think about anything. But, like, we're not there yet, and so it's always tricky when you have metered things, and
Hmm.
especially in a lot of apps that have traditionally never had metering. It's like, how
Yeah.
comfortable are people with metering, right? Like your IDE was never metered before. It's
My
like I can use my
terminal's
IDE
never
as
been
much as I
metered.
want,
Yeah.
right? So do you have like a credit system? Do you just absorb the cost but have high pricing? There's just like different ways you could handle it, but it's interesting to see everybody's slightly different. Like this one, it doesn't seem like you get to pick the model and it's just sort of generic, but then you don't have the light unless you go higher and blah blah blah. But then it's sort of weird because like I'm on the higher tier and I run out and I get a worse model. So I don't know. It's all and these guys don't seem to have overflow pricing. Like most of the other ones are like, when you run out of your good AI requests, you can just buy more good AI requests for $10 per 100 or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know. That's just
Yeah,
more of
it's
a business
crazy to
dad
me,
question.
and I get it that they're trying to make money. It's crazy to me that I have a $200 a month Chat GPT subscription, and I can't just be like, use that.
plug it in,
I got to
right?
come in here and pay $15 a user a month billed annually, and I get 1,000 AI requests. Give me a break.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I mean, that whole thing is weird though too, right? Because they're like subsidizing you. I mean, not you in particular. They're not probably because you're paying them $200 a month. But for the regular plans that are 20, but they all have basically unlimited usage. I mean, I think there
Mm-hmm.
is some behind the scenes like limits of some sort, but I don't know. It's interesting. It feels like there will be some shit. I just canceled Slack AI yesterday because I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
is anybody using Slack AI? Everybody's like, no, we're not using Slack AI.
I
Slack
canceled
AI
Claude.
cost more than what we pay for Slack. We're paying more for
What?
Slack AI than the user seats of Slack. I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
That's stupid.
Yes, I canceled Claude a while back because I can't go between them. I like the OpenAI
Nope.
Mac app. I just
Yep.
use
Same.
that. I do like Claude 3.7 for code, but it's like my IDE lets me pick it, so I just pick
Mm-hmm.
it. Whatever. All the IDs let you switch between all the different models. I don't know which one's best, but
You know the tool that I am just far and away most pleased with right now. 11 Labs
okay.
for speech to text transcription. It is unbelievably good and incredibly cheap, and it gets the diarization correct. So like the speaker turns. It's incredible. It's very, very good. I was using DeepGram for a long time, which was pretty good. And then I tried 11 and I was like, well, this is better. So that's what I'm using for all of our
Sweet.
course videos. And I put transcripts of all the podcasts I've been on. I put those on my website, and that's what I'm using for that as well. And it's awesome.
I remember, yeah, in the video there, you were saying that one of the jobs you have is kick it off to
Uh-huh.
these guys. Yeah, I haven't used that. I never had that need, but that is interesting. This whole idea of like voice and video and all
Mm-hmm.
these things, audio, conversion with the LMs.
Thing I'm working on, like the hobby horse I'm on right now, is taking all the transcripts of the podcasts that I'm on, this one included, but like I'll go on other podcasts and talk about, wide and varied subjects, and then like transcribing those and then feeding it back to ChatGPT and saying, hey, pull out 3 or 4 main ideas to turn into articles here.
Yeah,
Take like all the things that I said about it and put it into a first draft, and using that as like a kickstart to be writing more.
yeah.
And it's so far like I've gotten, I've kind of kludged it together, and it's pretty good. It's
Hmm.
surprisingly helpful in that regard. And I think it'll be even better once I get the entire body of work, so all transcripts and all stuff that I've written, and turn it into a RAG pipeline, which you just said is terrible. You said you hate
Yeah,
it,
don't need
but
the
I think I
rag.
can do it. I think I can do it myself, just in Postgres, which is
Why
going to
do you,
be
why do you need rag? Just use the big context window model and shove it all in there.
well, because I mean, how many episodes have we done here? 50, 60, 70, something like that.
Hmm.
And that's like on this podcast alone, 70 hours of content. And it's just like,
Yeah,
no matter how big they claim the context window is, it starts to like fall off.
I
And
guess with something
so,
like this, maybe.
yeah, so I think what I'm doing right now is I'm feeding it a single transcript, and I'm saying basically like identify timestamps. Give me the topics and the timestamps, like you would with show notes, basically. And then I'm taking what it gives me back for like the timestamps and the topics, and that's how I'm splitting the transcript. So I'll split the transcript into like discrete chunks, and then vectorize them, and then put them in Postgres. And then the thing I haven't gotten to yet is querying against it. So taking my, hey, I'm writing an article about this, find everything, that I've ever said about it. It'll
Yeah,
turn that query into a vector, go search Postgres, give me back all the context. And then I will feed that trimmed down context. So maybe it's like 10 discrete chunks across, 10 episodes or something. I'll feed that context into the prompts that's like, hey, write an article based on everything I've said. So
yeah,
I think it's just too much information for it to sort through it
could be.
all.
Could maybe do big chunks and then like still give most of it to the LLM, but like narrow it down so it's not literally everything. You might end up doing some regular SQL like just like queries and stuff too, because the vector searching is kind of trash for like a lot of
What?
real use cases. Yeah, man. It's like It's a dumb system. It's like you said blue shoes, but you also want to include red shoes. That's like what it's for. It's not for like,
Mm-hmm.
here's a paragraph of information and this vector is gonna magically figure out. The LLM is the magic that figures out what a paragraph of text means. The vectors don't work that way. So
Well, the
I don't know.
LLM makes the vectors. That's how they get them.
Yeah, but I mean, but it depends exactly what you're doing with it. If you're narrowing it down to like a single word or a tiny idea, it could work. I don't know. But then you're at like, why not just use a light query and like, I don't know, like,
Mm,
nah, I don't know. I mean, it'll probably be good enough for your purposes, right? So it probably
probably.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
that much. See, this is where I think there's a lot of things have had a hard time making the jump in the AI world to being actually useful in business yet, because for yourself and even for software developers with these coding tools, like you can accept 90% accuracy
Totally.
and it's fine because you're seeing it, you're reviewing it, you know
Mm-hmm.
if it makes sense.
I'm writing the goddamn article. I just need a
Right. At
little,
the
like, give
end
me
of the
some
day,
context.
you're
Yeah.
going to review the article it comes up with, and then you're going to make your edits and all this stuff. But like when you're pushing the AI directly to a customer, like 90% accuracy is horrific, right? Like 10% of the time it's screwing up, and that's terrible. It's way worse than a human, whether it's support, whether it's a
Yep.
salesperson, whether it's whatever, business customer contact spot you want to pick. That's where it falls off. So like, yeah. So for your purposes, it's probably fine. But I tend to think about more in like, oh, like if I wanted to put this in front of a customer, like if you want to make a product out of this, it
I
might
know.
not be sufficient,
I
right?
don't know how anyone does customer facing AI, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky.
I do not trust it enough to like expose it to a normal person, even
Right.
in like yeah, expose it to a sophisticated person that is not like, I don't know, inside the business or like understanding that this is AI and you got to work with it.
Right.
If you're pretending it's a human and it says something that's like
That's the
ten
worst. I don't know
percent
why
wrong,
anybody would do that.
that
Yeah.
they're like, you're
Yeah.
hosed. It's game over.
Yeah.
I still maintain that the best place to use AI is in writing deterministic code. Like,
Right.
let's use this probability machine to write something that is like rigid and testable. So
Yeah.
computer, like programming, math and science, all the stuff that has a right and wrong answer, totally makes perfect sense to me. And stuff that's fuzzy, I still think needs like the arbiter in the middle. So like, I'm never ever gonna just like let it autonomously publish an article under my name, because that's fuzzy
Right.
and I think it could say things that are wrong or untrue or I don't believe. And so
Right.
maybe it's not even objectively right or wrong. It's like, well, it's not what I want my name on. So I don't understand. I think it's all hype and money that's causing these people to be like, deploy agents to your customers. I'm like, the guys, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I think there's some ways to maybe get there, but I do think there's like some missing pieces probably still and some things like that. You also over time have the idea of like people, especially I think if they're pretending to be a human, that's probably a terrible idea. But as the consumer gets more accustomed to like dealing with things that are AI, like, we're accustomed to dealing with sort of dumb computers currently in certain areas, right? You're like, oh, this dumb computer, like I know that sometimes it makes this mistake or whatever, acts in a certain way, and I can just deal with it. Even though it's annoying, it's not like enough to make you extremely mad because you've gotten used to the ways in which it is
Mm-hmm.
not as good as a human standing in front of you. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not totally pessimistic, but I am pessimistic on the like short term, and then also on like the current tools available, like the vector searches and things like that. But
It's crazy. I didn't know you were an anti-vector guy.
vectors is garbage. Vectors is what we had the whole time. We've had vectors for 15 years, and that every bad chat bot you've ever interacted with was using a vector search. And you're always like, well, why is this thing answering a totally wrong question? Well, because it was like a vector lookup and it came
Hmm.
back with the wrong answer. Like,
Interesting.
whatever. I think it has some. I'd be inclined to just use SQL honestly most of the time, as opposed to like the vector. Like, probably you can use them together. A lot of things recommend using them together. But yeah,
It's hard. It's just hard, and I don't know if vectors will solve this. It's hard to like capture an idea in a like
right.
query.
The vectors don't capture ideas really. That's like they on the very surface they do. Like again, like blue shoe, red shoe, it'll
Mm-hmm.
get you to that they're both a shoe. But that's what it does. Like that's sort of where it's at. I mean, think about it. It's a mathematical model. It doesn't even know anything about the thing you're talking about. So it's nothing like the LLM. Like it's not aware that like a high heel is a type of shoe like the LLM would be.
Yeah,
So
but I'm sending the text off to OpenAI to turn it into vectors, so they're not doing some juju to make it like
I
better.
don't believe so. That's not my understanding of what it's doing there. Because think like,
Mm.
well, I would have to list every shoe ever, right? And like, there's no relation between the words and the vector. It's just like this cosine of like these words that in your, and it's also only using your data you send in. It's nothing in the outside that's being done with it. There's no model involved in any of that. So yeah.
I'll have to report back.
Yeah. Again, I think for your thing, it's probably fine. But I think you could also get to the same place with regular SQL probably, and it'll be just as good, especially for your use case. But yeah. All right. So we mostly stay away from politics, but
Oh wow.
we're gonna do a little politics segment.
Oh no, what is
Little
it?
politics. Because I feel the need to talk about
Oh
this because it's
no.
gonna impact a lot of our people out there potentially. Our president last night is going to put a tariff on movies that are made outside the United States.
Hysterical.
Nobody knows what this even means. I guess it means the tickets, but it said produce. So you're trying to tariff the production.
If there's one thing the rest of the
or,
world is known for that the USA is not known for, it's making movies for
That's
sure.
right.
So this makes a lot of sense. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So we're not going to get to that part of the politics. Fine, whatever. Tariffs on movies. The thing that's interesting is that traditionally tariffs are not on services and digital products. Like as far as I know, it's like never happened, or at least it's extraordinarily rare. I'm pretty sure it's never happened, and it's just not a thing that's tariffed. Is services.
Okay.
So this would be like breaking this ground of tariffs on services, which entertainment is a service, right? So now we're there. We are like right at the precipice of software as a service, right? And consulting as a service and all these things, which America is very good at and is by far net positive. And when you get into trade deficits and all these things, like America's shipping out services. That's what we do. That is what we've become. We ship the services. So if we're going to have tariffs on services, probably going to be logical that other countries would counter tariff.
Keep going.
Would counter tariff on our services. Like if we're going to open up the floodgates on tariffing digital goods and services, presumably other countries will respond. It is like, it's super scary. It's somewhat fascinating. I don't know how you implement a tariff exactly on some of these things. There's obviously no mechanisms. Like in physical goods, there's tons of mechanisms. Like all the ports, everything's geared around, they have a way to collect tariffs. Because even there's actually a baseline tariff of like 2% or something on like everything just already that's been existing forever. So there's a mechanism to collect tariffs. There's obviously no mechanism to collect tariffs in your SaaS app, right? So like, how do you collect tariffs? Where do they go? And how do you pay the tariffs you collect? And all this stuff that will be quite fascinating. What do customers think about it? Do you pass it on? Do you absorb the tariff cost? There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
Yeah. It's just out there. It's happening. I felt the need to talk about it since this is like a software podcast.
It is
ostensibly. Anyway.
Yes, it's mostly software podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is going to happen. I don't know how familiar you are with ostriches, but they have this thing where they stick their head in the sand,
right?
And then everything works out. Everything works out for the ostrich. That's kind of my move. I have heard about the tariffs, obviously, because every podcast is talking about them. The All In podcast only talks about tariffs now. That's all they talk about.
I never listened to All In, but I imagine there's a lot of tariff talk.
It's awful. It's so terrible.
Do they like the tariffs over there?
You can't.
David Sachs loves the tariffs? David
Sachs loves the tariffs because he's inside man, and Jason is a flip flopper, and it's crazy. So I know that tariffs are happening. I also know that nobody knows what's happening.
That's true.
Maybe even dear leader himself has no idea what's happening.
I mean, it's just a toilet tweet at 11 a.m.
That is entirely
right?
possible that no one up until and including the president has an idea of what's going to happen next.
Yes.
And so I can't be bothered, frankly. I just can't be bothered. Should something come down, should a rule with the force of law come down, then I will start paying attention. We don't use them anymore, but should Lemon Squeezy be like, hey, we collect tariffs on your behalf now because we're a merchant of record, and it's like, oh, this must be real. okay,
right?
I guess I should start paying attention.
Yeah.
But until like Stripe says, hey, you got to file a form, 1099 tariff, until they do that, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Could be nothing, could be something.
Yeah.
I'm just unconvinced. I think I'm in the camp of nothing ever happens. Like nothing ever happens. Nothing ever changes. And with like tariffs on software, I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. I sort of agree, but also not entirely. I mean, obviously, listen, there's the level of like, what can you actually do, which is
Correct.
very little, right?
Very little. Very little.
But it's also not nothing. And because you have to figure, I mean, you're maybe not in this situation exactly, but like, I don't know what percentage of Try Hard Studio sales is outside the United States, if you know.
I would have to just take a wild guess, and I would say probably 20,
Okay.
30. I have
I think that
no
seems
idea.
reasonable. So
Yeah.
that's about what ours outside the United States sales
Mhm.
are. So, if you say, hey, 30% of your business, you're going to have to double the price too. I just think that that's something that you should be at least contemplating what that means. I think there's like a
Disagree.
fiduciary responsibility on some level.
I
To
am only
to be
fiducied
thinking
to
about that.
myself and Steve. Those are my
Well, see, I know.
only
Well, there you
fiduciary
go. Though you have
responsibilities.
you have an employee, you have one employee, you have a co-founder, right? That is your fiduciary responsibility. And so I don't know. I just think in any business anywhere, if I was like, hey, forget tariffs, just in the abstract, business school case study, right? And it's on the paper, you're reading it, and it's like, hey, paper manufacturing company realizes due to unforeseen circumstances of a worm infestation in their
Oh, nice.
trees,
Yeah.
right? The cost of their trees is going to go up 100%. I think the people at that paper company, right, are going to be thinking about the impact of a 100% increase on their costs potentially, right?
Yes.
So there is the aspect of like, should you like worry about it insanely? No. Does the president change his mind every day and he could say tariffs one way, not tariffs the other? Yes. But even that to me is more, it's really the opposite. That's the issue. Is everybody else going to have that same reaction? Like there's just been a trade pact announced between like China and I think it was Malaysia. So you have like these free trade deals going on that obviously exclude to work around America, right? People are trying to route around America.
Not great.
So, if Europe puts a tariff on US software, and President Trump changes his mind on tariffs, I don't think it doesn't automatically mean that Europe drops their tariffs, right? And so you have all these, there's all these complexities there. And there's not a lot you can do about it, but I also think there is elements worth just being aware of at the very least, and also thinking about potentially like, hey, I mean, because here's an interesting part of it to me. In all this negative aspects of these things, there is also opportunity, which is another
I
way to
agree.
think about it.
Mhm.
Like if there's 100% tariff on software, let's say Europe imposed that. Who is hurt by that and who gains? Like in my case in particular, there's an argument to be made that it would actually help me because like 90% of the help desk software is made in America. And so Zendesk is already like 5 to 10 times more expensive than HelpSpot. So as a percentage increase, when you give it a 100% increase, it's now wildly more expensive, even though we are also paying the same 100% increase. Are there going to be companies that are like, oh man, like our Zendesk went from $50,000 to $100,000, and now we're just looking at other solutions. And even though there's a tariff on HelpSpot, it's only going to cost us $8,000 or whatever. And so it's still in absolute terms much less money. So there is these kind of things too, which is sort of fascinating, that it certainly would be hurting the American software industry, but even within there, you might have levels of winners and losers and things like that. So
Yeah, I
know.
think in some regards, there's already a tariff on American software, and that's the VAT tax. And you know what most people do? They just freaking ignore it. I mean, that's what most people do. And like even GitHub and 37 Signals up until the past few years didn't collect sales tax, and then they were like, whoops, all right, well, we're going to do that now. I think DHH said they owed like, $2 million or $3 million in back sales tax to Chicago or
Yeah.
something like that, or Illinois. And
Mhm.
so part of me just thinks like we're such small fries that the big dogs are going to go to battle over this, and so I just kind of get to like hide in their shadows. And then another part of me is like, I don't need to worry about this because my accountant's job is to worry about this. Like
Oh, yeah.
until
I
until
don't agree with that for sure.
until they give me guidance on, hey, you need to be collecting tariffs. What are you doing? That's not
Right.
my problem.
So here, I think it's radically different than VAT, because the thing with VAT is it's sort of dubious legally if we should even be collecting it, although whatever, I think letter of the law, probably you should. But the enforcement of that is Europe, and they can't get to you here. That's the ultimate
God,
thing, right?
Europe. What are they gonna do?
The tariff is the opposite of that. Like that's like depending on which way, whatever. That gets complicated, but like there could be elements of the United States government saying you have to collect tariffs, and so on and so forth, and whatever. And or we have to pay the tariff to Europe. Now, the pay the tariff to Europe is similar to the VAT. And I guess you could ignore it. I don't know. I just think this has so much more light on it, though. I don't know if it can be ignored in the same way. I'm
Watch
not
me.
totally convinced. I'm not totally convinced with that.
Here's my call.
I don't think
I'm
I
gonna
don't
call
think the
my shot here.
customers are going to be okay with that. I think there's a lot more to this in some ways, but
Here's my call.
possibly.
One, it's
Yeah.
not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. They're not going to tariff software.
I don't know,
Two,
man.
if they do,
Mm.
it's either going to go away pretty quickly, or like Microsoft and Apple and Google are going to just like beat it to death and it's going to be gone. And then
Right.
three, it's not going to hit the small guys, and for years and years and
The
years
world has
until,
changed, man. I just don't know if that's true. Like the big guys will defend us, right? Like this is the whole Section 174 tax issue, which we've talked about on the show previously. In very short summary, it means you can't write off the expenses of your software developers. So it's just a U.S. tax code thing, pre-Trump, pre-everything, whatever. Actually, it's from the Trump era. First V1 of Trump, but whatever. And all the big software companies hate this, and they have, as of yet, not defended us. They haven't gotten it changed. It hasn't been fixed. We're on year 3. So I'm not so convinced
so
that
what
they
hope
have
do we have, Ian? What hope do you and I have of changing
that's true,
anything?
but exactly. So the question is then, how do you prepare for the inevitability of it? You will not be defended. No, there is nobody who's going to come protect your business from the tariffs.
And take the wheel.
How
That's how you prepare. Yeah,
that's a strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big guys, I'm kind of dubious, and that it doesn't impact things. I don't know if that's true. Like, look at Canada, right? Like, okay, we have the tariffs on all the Canadian stuff. Just even the threat of them, and that was somewhat withdrawn back, right? And it like totally changed the Canadian election. Literally, like completely flip flopped it in 1 month. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there you go. There's like a
Doesn't
huge,
matter.
like 30-point swing both directions from the party that was kind of pro
winning
Trump,
and who ended up winning.
So the pro Trump party was like winning by a lot on January 20th. They were way ahead in the polls by like 25 points or something. And then when you got to election day a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, whatever it was, that party lost everywhere. And the Liberal Party, I guess, won everywhere. And so it's a huge, like, the poll is like a crazy vertical line, one going vertically down and the other one going vertically up. So you do, even the threat of these things has actually large impacts. Like you have the whole leadership of a country that's completely opposite of where it was clearly going 1 month ago.
And here's the thing. I didn't know that happened.
That's
true.
That
has not changed my life one iota.
That's true, but that's just an example. I'm not saying that changed your life. I'm saying that these things, I think the way this is all happening, it's not going to be so easy for us to take the traditional American route of it'll all be fine and we can ignore it all. Now, I hope that's true, because I love being an American and ignoring everything and not caring about any of this stuff. And it doesn't actually matter what happens because we're the big dog. And ultimately, it tends to be okay in the end. I'm not sure that's true this time, but maybe it will be. I hope it will be.
It will be. It's going to be great.
We believe it to be true.
I need a little popsicle stick with my face on it that says, I'm Team Aaron on this one. It's all going to be fine. I believe it. It'll all be fine. It'll all work out.
Yes, I'm with you. I hope you're correct. I hope you are prophetizing here, whatever the proper word is there.
Yes. Proselytizing is something different.
Proselytizing.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think I don't know, declaring prophecy, but proselytizing is different.
Okay.
Prophetizing, I don't think is a word.
That's just me making up words. Yeah.
Profiteering, that's something, but we're not
Profiteering. There's
doing
lots
that.
of that
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's politics corner. What else do we
Hey,
got?
that wasn't so bad.
That wasn't so bad. We didn't
That
go
wasn't so
like
bad.
crazy. We kept it in the business
No, we
zone.
did. We kept it
Yeah.
at the top. That was good.
I don't know. I don't think I have anything else going on. I have like busy week, but it's all random stuff.
We got to get you
What's
doing
going on
some
with the?
side projects, man.
Mm, yeah, I have some ideas. I have some ideas. I'm not ready to talk about any ideas yet. They're not things that are real yet. Something could happen at some point. It's not impossible. Not impossible. At some point, we could talk about something on the show, but we're not there yet. Gotta still say
Got to
no
start
for a while.
got to start pulling your weight on the content,
No
Ian.
man.
I'm
No
doing too
man.
much crazy stuff. I'm keeping the
Hey,
show
listen,
together.
we could talk about, we started doing politics segments on here. Boom,
Oh,
listenership right up through the
oh,
roof,
sure,
through the
definitely.
roof, through the roof.
Unfortunately, that's probably true.
100% true. That's
That's why
what the news
everybody
talks
does it.
about, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's why
exactly.
everybody does it.
It's not because
But
they want to talk about politics. It's because it works to get
and
people to listen.
this my one wild life, I'm not gonna talk about politics on a podcast. No freaking way.
Oh boy. All right. Do we have a course update? Well, give us a Try Hard Studio. One little update before we
Yes.
close it out here.
So Steve and I have been very hard at work modifying the platform. So we have a single multi-tenant platform that runs all of our course websites.
Yes.
So it runs high performance SQLite, mastering Postgres, and high leverage Rails. It does not yet run screencasting.com, but it will soon. So what we've been working on is we've been migrating from Lemon Squeezy to Stripe, which has been a lot of work. Not only it's not a one-to-one migration. That's part of the problem. It's not like we're going to do the exact same things that we used to do, just with a different provider. We are now incorporating like a full-on cart and e-commerce angle to it, and so we've kind of had to re-architect a ton of stuff.
Yep.
And then additionally, we have been re-architecting the platform to support multiple courses on a single domain. So far it's been high performance SQLite. There's one course, and so it's very easy, that relationship. Screencasting.com is going to have, I think, to start 5 courses. And so that changes kind of the whole data model and how like we interact with the products and the permissions and the checkout and all of
Hence
that
the
stuff.
data model video.
Hence the data model video. So I think we're going to deploy the first version of that either today or tomorrow. And this will only be the database courses. So we're going to change the database courses to the new version of the platform, and then after we suss out any errors there, then we'll port screencasting over and do the screencasting launch on the platform. So it's been a lot of work, but Steve and I both feel so much better about the platform, because last year we were kind of just like running and gunning, trying to get stuff out the door. And it was just like, I don't know, just write an if statement, just like write a switch statement, depending on what site you're on, write a switch statement and we'll figure it out later. And now it's much more like structured and easy to reason about. All the way up to the front end. Like Steve has done an incredible job on the front end, making the sites a little bit more templatized, and then being driven by configuration on the back end, so that now we could spin up a new course website in less than a day.
Oh wow,
it's just
that's
like
great.
Going in, changing some logos, changing some copy, uploading the videos, and then hooking up DNS. And that feels really good, because I think we are going to try to pump out a bunch of like intro level courses pretty soon. And just the like, it used to be like a week's worth of work just to get the site set up, because you got to like
the site,
make new view components for this site and come up with a landing page. And now it's all just kind of like, this is how our sites look. So feeling very good about that. So we'll do the soft launch of the new platform, and most people shouldn't notice any difference. But we'll make sure that the checkout works and all of that. And then shortly thereafter, we will do like the launch of screencasting.com with all the new courses on Final Cut and DaVinci and Premiere and all of that stuff. So that is going to be great. I'm very excited about that.
Are you going to do like a podcast tour, or like feel like you could get
I don't
into some
know.
other
Yeah,
zones with screencasting, like
yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I think we are gonna try to go pretty hard on YouTube content for that. Have Steve do some stuff on a new channel there. Um, but yeah, I don't know exactly what the promo plan is gonna. We still need to make like a launch video and that kind of stuff.
right.
But just the like digging out of technical debt has been such a emotional relief, and I don't feel like afraid to open the project now because like,
Right.
yeah, this is clean now. I feel good about this.
Plus, you're closer to the backup plan, and maybe not even just pure backup plan of selling the course management software
I
as
know.
a product.
I know.
You're getting there.
It does feel that way a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. This
Because
thing sounds awesome.
now we have a proper model on the back end for like course authors, and we can put in their revenue share if there is one. And it's just like, well, this is kind of great. Like it just handles
Yeah.
everything for us.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Even if it wasn't like a pure just sign up and be on the if it was more like it's one-off deals, but like with
Right.
interesting people, and you're kind of
Right.
just managing that platform and various other aspects. I don't know, you have to figure it out, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it could be great. Like a not like a SaaS that people sign up for, but something where we're working closely with them,
Right.
basically just to run alongside our courses, but on different domains and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really interesting.
Also
I
kind of a
think
middle ground.
that's basically what Joel Hooks does with Kent C.
Kind
Dodds
of
and
like
Matt
that.
Pocock and those guys.
Mm.
So
What are you
yeah, we'll
doing
see.
for what are you doing for where's your business logic in this app? Is it actions, or you what are you doing? What are you doing for
Mm.
business logic? You doing
Um, we do
services?
a lot of business logic in like commands and stuff. And so I have a lot of I have a point of view that um it's basically like guess and check. So I have commands that wake up all the time and look for like, hey, are there any videos that need this thing? No, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. And I prefer that sometimes over jobs because jobs sometimes you end up with jobs, you end up like writing a command to find all the models that need the thing, and then you dispatch the jobs, and then you later have to check like, do they are there any that failed? Like, let me
Right,
redispatch
that
them.
whole
And so
thing, yeah.
yeah, I end up writing a lot in just the console commands. We do have a
Mm.
few actions. I'm not yet fully sold on the actions
Mm.
paradigm yet.
Yeah.
I've started using it on my personal site and find it to be pretty helpful. But part of me thinks like I'm only using this action in one place. So what am I getting out of like factoring it out? And I guess the answer is testability. I don't really
Mm.
know. Or like ease of logic, like it's easier to reason about when it's a discrete item.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I've picked up the actions a little bit, but we're not like super
Not
dogmatic about
hardcore yet.
actions, no.
Mm. Kind of along these lines of the marketing stuff, a little thing I'm going to be trying this week. Be the first time in 20 years that for HelpSpot, I'm pretty sure this is true. I'm pretty sure it's true. We're going to try doing Google ads, which I've
Wow.
never, I believe, tried for HelpSpot. Maybe I did like a few $1,000s worth, like
Yeah.
17 years ago or something, but pretty much never tried. So this will be an interesting little marketing experiment to
Mm-hmm.
see if we can throw money at it. Cause like I said way earlier, like SEO is kind of dying. Like they just throw so much garbage up there now. Like there's
Yeah,
boxes, and now there's an AI thing. And then obviously you have the ads, and like there's not a lot of like, even if you're first, it's not like awesome
you're
like it
halfway
used to
down the
be.
page anyway.
Yeah, you're like on page 2 a lot of the times. The first organic link is page 2 pretty
That's
often at this point.
absurd.
So it's kind of crazy. But Google is also still like kind of the best spot for like, here is somebody telling you
I know.
literally exactly what they need. So, and it's kind of interesting. Like you would think OpenAI would be interested in this, but they've come out pretty strongly, Sam Altman, that they're not going to do ads. So yeah, so Google's still the spot. LinkedIn too, we're going to play around with a little
How
bit,
much we doing?
but
We doing a big
I
experiment here?
don't know. Like for I'm gonna be more of the niche word because if you just do like help desk software, it's like literally $150 a click and
Good
can't play in
lord.
that game. I'm gonna just pick like one segment of keywords. I'm not sure what, like not gonna do, I'm just gonna pick one keyword basically, or and its variations and experiment with that. most of them tend to be in like $10 to $25 a click range, which to me still seems completely
That's a
insane.
lot.
But whatever, the math sort of works if you can convert some percentage of them, that's reasonable. So we will see. I don't know anything about it. If anybody out there has resources of this sort of stuff, I'm happy to read up on best practices and things. I've never really done anything with this. But yeah, I don't know how much we're going to spend. I mean, start out slow just because like Google will eat up whatever
Yeah.
you can throw at it. And our sales cycle tends to be kind of long. So I don't want to like dump, 20 grand into it and then find out, oh, nothing converted. That'd be a bummer. So I don't know exactly yet. Probably like 3 to 5,000 the first month just to like feel out the system, see what's going on. Obviously, if it works, then yeah, pour money into it. If more money comes out the other end, that's fantastic. Like
That's
that's
the
the
dream.
dream of advertising. So I don't know if that's going to be true. And of course, even on all the long tail keywords in this space have tons of competitors, which is why it's expensive. So we'll see. I'm sure there's a million games. Most of the people I know who've done it successfully are really super optimized about it because ultimately like Google's super optimized about it and they know how much this is worth to you more than you know how much it's worth to
Yeah.
you. And so they are sucking up all the margin for the most part. So you can't like have any stray ad campaigns that are losing you some money because like it just destroys the whole economic model for on your end.
So much to
So
learn.
yeah, there's a lot to it there. So just gonna dip the toe in and feel it out. But I was like, it's something we've
This
never
is
really
good.
done.
This is a good thread. We
Yeah.
need this.
This will be something to talk about. It's not a side project of code, but it'll
This
be
is
a little
good.
business side
We need
project.
to
So we
figure out
can
ads
report.
on our side. So you figure it out first,
There we
and then
go.
we'll be right
Yeah,
behind
your
you.
stuff should work for
I
ads, I
know.
would think, like Postgres training. And
I
like, I would
know.
think there's some words out there that would work. And that would be, I think it's probably somewhat competitive, but I think it's probably not crazy competitive. So
Yeah.
I think it's probably possible to make that work, the economics of that work. But even stuff too, like I don't think this would work for me, but for your stuff, like Reddit has a whole advertising
I know.
platform. I could imagine that being good for courses potentially and things like that. So yeah, there's the default is not to do these kind of things, but it's sort of interesting because if you're not a coder and you're not like a technologist and you're coming at it from like, if you're a marketing major, right, and you find yourself in this space, I feel like you take advantage of these type of tools. You're like, oh, great. Like there's people who are looking for this product. Like we can
Totally.
just spend money and we can get to in front of them. That's like their angle. And we're like, oh, spend money on the like
I know.
advertising. I don't know. It feels scary. It feels risky. There's other ways I've done it in the past that we could do it. It's like, it's probably not the best mindset. So I'm trying to change the
Businesses
mindset a
for
little bit there.
thousands of years have advertised,
Yeah,
and it's been
exactly.
fine. So maybe we should do the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this is a thing that every other business on earth does, except for
Hmm.
our little corner here. That's like,
Yeah.
hey, we can get this for free somehow, or word of mouth, or social media links, and
Yeah. Let
whatever.
me go
It's like,
post engagement bait on Twitter and see if
right,
that turns into
exactly.
money. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like that stuff too, which that stuff never worked for me. But even for the business that did work for, all these social media sites are so like optimized now away from giving you free advertising, right? It's
Yeah.
like, no, we'll give you like Trump tweets or Biden tweets or whatever is going to make you mad or keep you engaged, but they're not going to give you like a link to a product you might like unless that's a paid advertisement. Then they're not going to down. I mean, that's why you can't even have links on Twitter, right? So like all these things are working in cahoots to attempt to eliminate the free channels of commerce, which I guess it feels annoying to me, but also like as a businessman, I mean, I guess I get it. Like the incentive is not for you to give me something for free so that my business grows. It's to try to collect
To grow your business. Yeah.
your pound of flesh so
Funny
that
how that
you
works.
get
Yeah.
paid. Yeah. So
Nice use of cahoots. That's a good
yeah,
one. You gotta be in cahoots.
I love being in
Gotta
cahoots.
say that more. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good word. All right. Good show.
Good
Wrap it.
show.
Anything else going on?
Nope.
We good?
That's it. That's it
All
for this
right.
week.
Thank you everybody for listening. Check us out, mostlytechnical.com. Thanks to all the sponsors. You can still sign up for the wait list for the Laracon US party. So get on the wait list. Like I said, we might try to open up a few more spots. There'll certainly be people who don't show and can't make it. So get on the wait list. And we will talk to you next week. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.